Good day, this is Javarni Johnson, a member of Lands, presenting this week's weekly update. Now, before we begin, please remember to visit our website at jalands.org and follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @lands_JA. Today's first topic comes from the Jamaica Gleaner. From an article entitled Bengal Deal Gone Bust. The National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, has yet to come to a decision on whether it will revoke the permit that was granted to the Bengal Development Company. Now, the Bengal Development Company is the company that wants to mine limestones from the Dry Harbour mountain. However, they had failed to pay the $40 million performance bond on the deadline of March 21st. This is, of course, breaching the permit conditions. Now, the purpose of the bond, the performance bond, is to cover any major environmental damages that might result from the project. Originally, the bond was supposed to be paid on January 17th, but they were given a 60-day extension by the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, NRCA. Many experts and locals have been very vocal against the mining of the Dry Harbour mountains. And this is understandable because the Dry Harbour mountains is home to many endemic and endangered species. Many people are waiting on the decision of Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who had said he would shut down the project if the permit conditions were breached. Prime Minister Holness has been facing heavy criticism as it relates to this topic because he had used his legal powers as the Economic Growth and Job Creation Minister to essentially overrule the NRCA's original decision in 2020 when they did not grant the Bengal Development Company the permit. Many people have been very critical of that decision, and that's understandable because our country's government honestly has a very poor track record as it relates to transparency in regards to these mining operations. This is further supported by research that was done by the Jamaica Environment Trust, where they published research in the Red Dirt, which heavily details a lot of the issues that the country experienced from the bauxite and aluminum mining and processing. The authors of the research noted that there were significant gaps and a lack of clarity in a lot of the data that was provided by the industry. And as a result, they are unable to assess the full impacts that the industry had on communities. And of course, there are long-standing community concerns as it relates to these industries because many people had voiced their concerns over the years relating to like public health and the effect that this has had on rural and community life and farming livelihoods, stuff like fertility and water supply. But the research indicated that the government of Jamaica has displayed a lack of responsiveness to the health concerns of the citizens. As of this recording, NEPA has yet to answer any questions about the actions that it will take going forward, and the chairman of the NRCA has also declined to speak on the issue. Our next topic comes from Radio Jamaica News, from an article entitled CDC Urging Americans to Avoid Traveling to Jamaica. Now, in this article, it stated that the US Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, is extending the level 4 status that it assigned to Jamaica. Now, the level 4 status means that visitors traveling to Jamaica will have a very high possibility of contracting COVID-19. The article also noted in an updated advisory that even fully vaccinated persons are at risk of getting and spreading the COVID-19 variants. And it urges travelers who must visit the country to exercise the correct COVID-19 preventative measures as well as get fully vaccinated. Responding to the CDC alert, Delana Sivright, who is a senior strategist from the Jamaica's Ministry of Tourism, said that the alert will not discourage persons traveling to Jamaica, and that many other countries have also had similar alignments, and went on to further state that they have been seeing an increase in the number of Americans who have been making travel plans to visit the island. The final topic for today comes from Luke, Jamaica, from an article entitled Norwegian Cruise Line to Resume Trips in Caribbean, Greece. After taking a 1-year hiatus, the Norwegian Cruise Line is ready to resume sailing in the Greek islands and the Caribbean in late July and August. The cruise line expects that the limited reopening will attract many passengers, 90% of which are expected to be Americans. So this announcement comes around the same time the CDC has issued that alert that we previously discussed. And it's worth noting that currently cruise ships are barred from cruising in US waters. And there is no date for when these operations will be allowed to resume. The CEO for the Norwegian Cruise Line is quoted saying that they are only going to places that want them to come, and that they aren't going anywhere where the governments aren't comfortable accepting cruise passengers. As we know, this isn't truly reflective of the reality. For many of these countries, it's not simply a want, but a need. Our country in particular relies heavily on foreign tourism and its contribution to our national income. So until we can move to a state where we are not so heavily reliant on foreign tourism for our national income, we will continue to be a playground for citizens of these developed countries. This has been Javarni Johnson with this week's Lands Weekly Update. Thank you for tuning in.